Hello all, welcome to Mokopedia. In today's session, we'll cover one of the most important topics, vocabulary. So, in this class, we'll try to understand how to build a top-notch vocabulary, what are the ways through which we can have and we can collect words. So, let us get started. So, first of all, why there is a need of vocabulary? So, yes, we have all the major entrance exams, placement tests, and they have direct questions from vocabulary. Also, good vocabulary is the backbone of reading comprehension. So if you have gone through the videos of reading comprehension and also of cloze test, you'll know that some questions are directly, some of the blanks are directly from vocabulary in cloze test. Also, some direct questions, that means in reading comprehension you are given a word and the author or the examiner asks you what could be the possible meaning of the given word as per the paragraph, right? So yes, it is the backbone of the reading comprehensions. Also, vocabulary based questions often find place in your cloze tests, right? So you have to be very careful about vocabulary, and there is dire need of building a strong vocabulary. And other than that, there is also an added advantage in your group discussions and in your personal interview rounds, that if you have a good vocabulary, it is a fair chance that you will impress the judges and the assessors there, right? So that is how there is a need for vocabulary, right? So we got the answer of why. Now the next thing that we have is how to build. So there is no other answer than read and read. You will find when you read, you start having words with you, right? One by one. It is a gradual process. You will not get hold of the words overnight, right? It will take some time, and good things do take time. So you got to be very patient about this. So, but how can we do that? When we start reading and we find words, they are very, very scary, right? They are very, very scary. So, how can we read and how can we build then if words are scary? So yes, words are scary until we make them friend. So when we have made them friend, what do? We hang out with our friends very often. So this is the same thing we have to do with words. So we need to know the word inside out and make use of it. You got to take that word all the time with you. Try to use that word in your sentences, right? This way you'll make them your friends, right? Because if you don't do that, I ask you a simple thing. Do you remember how you learnt your mother tongue? So that is a different thing. You know the mother tongue, but you don't know how you build up that, right? Because it didn't happen overnight. It took some time. And how did that happen? That happened because you read, you heard, you wrote, and this way we acquire a language, right? These are the ways through which a language can be acquired, and the most important one is read. When you read, your mind get exposed to different kinds of words. So you need to make them friend. And what are the different ways through which you can know the words better? These are not tips or tricks, but these are the ways through which something happens, because as such there is no definite tip or trick that you can learn words, right? You need to read for that, and it is very, very difficult to keep track of and to get hold of thousands of words, right? Thousands of words. It's very, very difficult because you tend to forget those words. So how can we memorize and retain that memory with us? So we'll try to work on that. Will not rather learn new words, rather will be will focus more on how can we retain those words. So here we'll learn some techniques through which we can retain the words. and these are very, very effective ones. This will definitely help you in your journey of building a strong vocabulary. So there are two ways: one through association, and second through RPS, not PRS, RPS, roots, then prefix, and then suffix. We'll understand all of them. And when you have acquired the knowledge of root, prefix, suffix, you'll start forming word word family, right? So this is what, and this is how it happens. First, we'll try the technique of association, how we can logically associate a word with something so that we can retain it and we can call it whenever it requires. Second, the technique of root, prefix, and suffix. So let us get started. First thing that we have is logical association, and that logical association can be in the form of some picture, event, and situation. Some picture, event, and situation, right? This we'll try to learn. So for example, we have a given word serendipity, and we are required to tell the meaning of the given word serendipity, right? The word is next to your screen, and the word is serendipity. How can we learn the word? So yes, there is nothing fancy. Of course, when you read and you find a difficult word, you do a Google search. We just have to do something different with the Google search. When you do Google search, there are n number of websites, right? And all give the same meaning, correct meaning. But what is the right way of doing it? So for example, I have taken and I find this very, very um, appropriate and suitable for learning vocabulary. Merriam-Webster, we have Merriam-Webster. This is the address, and the word is serendipity. So here, just for a second, focus on a few things. First of all, you will be given the definition of that word, and then there will be some FAQs related to that word. Then we'll have an example sentence, and then there will be, so that there will be word history, so that we can relate, we can form the chronology of that word, right? Let me put something very, very interesting here. We had a question earlier: how did you learn your mother tongue? How did you learn your mother tongue? Right? So we can tell from reference the formative years of our life where we started speaking that language. But it is exactly very difficult to tell how and when this happened. Why? Because our mind focuses on only one thing, that is pictures. If we give pictures, if we feed mind with pictures, there is a possible chance that we'll learn and retain that word for longer period of time, right? So so let's try now for some pictures. So I have given, so first of all, you have to give, and you have to search something on Google, and like for example, we have taken Merriam-Webster, and we have to read that word. So first of all, the word is serendipity. It's a noun. We got to know the parts of speech, and it tells that the faculty or phenomenon of finding valuable or agreeable things not sought for, right? It is something that we have not sought for, we something that we didn't ask for, but we get it, right? Luckily, something very pleasant. We didn't ask for, we didn't seek that, but we get that, right? So, and once you got the literal definition of the word, then the next thing comes. Next thing is you have to relate that word with picture, because I just told you our mind reads pictures, it retains pictures well, so you can learn. So if I ask you, when you had pizza for the first time in your life, you don't exactly remember when it happened unless some specific date, unless your birthday, but you do know where you had that, and how was the ambience. Why? Because our mind reads pictures, it retains the pictures, right? So it retains the place where you went and how it was, not the date when it happened. So the same way, you learn the word serendipity, and then you supply, then you, at the first place, you go for the literal definition, literal meaning, and that literal meaning was something you didn't seek, but you get it. Here we have the example of great scientist Newton. He was sitting and something happened, and then there came the law of gravity, right? So that is how it happened. So it is the example of serendipity. He didn't go there to learn or to look for, he didn't seek the law, but he got it. So that is how you can learn the word serendipity, right? It's very, very beautiful way of understanding and learning new words. Then we have mellifluous, and it means, it is an adjective, right? And it means having a smooth, rich flow filled with something such as honey, that sweetness, filled with something which is very sweet, right? So mellifluous. Now let us read more about it. So when you go for did you know, so again you have to be very careful. When you read a word, read the definition, look for other information which will help as an extra data, additional information for your brain. This will help your brain to retain things for a longer period of time. So here we have in the did you know section, in Latin, mel means honey and flor means to flow. So these two linguistic components flow smoothly together in mellifluous. So it is from Latin, and that is how. So something which is very, very sweet in taste, sweet in, like something you listen to and it's very, very sweet. So it is mellifluous, flow like honey, sweet flow, right? And when you got the idea of the word here, so this way, something which is mellifluous, it's a mic, stage mic, and when you sing beautifully, so it's a flow of honey when somebody is singing that way. So very, very smooth, very, very pleasant, right? So this way you can, through the pictures, you can understand and retain the word for a longer period of time, right? So let us look for, when you have these things, and this way over the time you have built up a good vocabulary, then when you have many, many words, you can relate them, because there will be many words who are somewhere related to a specific word. For example, we have speak here. So for that you will have the synonyms of speak, also antonym of speak, also antonyms of speak. So for speak, we have loquacious, we have taciturn, we have garrulous, right? Right. So that is how. So somebody who speaks a lot is garrulous, somebody who speaks less is taciturn, right? So this way you can learn words. So only you have acquired a good vocabulary through associating the words with some sort of picture that help you retain that, and when you have retained, you have collection of different words, and then you can relate that yes, this word is similar to that, this word is although or straight away opposite to that. So this way you can do some logical association. And then we have some root words and roots. Basically, let us understand it first, read it. A root word is a word or word part that forms the basis of new words through the addition of prefix and suffix. So let's say you have a root word it simply tells root word is a combination of one or two, and they could be some prefix and they could be some suffix, right? And in traditional root words, these words come from Latin and Greek and typically do not stand alone as complete word, right? So for example, geo, right? It is something related to earth, but it doesn't stand alone completely. So that is why we write geography, right? In the same way, let us understand root words. So for example, we have some root words given here. So basically a root word, we have understood that it's a word and the part that forms the basis of new words through the addition of prefix and suffix. So for example, we have here cred, and these days there's a cred app, credit card related, right? So in the same way, we have cred and it means believe. That is why we say credible, that means reliable, believable, and then incredible, cannot be believed. Script, that means to write, then we have scriptures. Sen, it means old, and then we have senior, right? So that is how we have root words. So if we get hold of a root word, and then it doesn't matter how many prefixes it has been used with, we know the base, and then it is easy for us to answer that particular word. And how the prefixes are used. So for example, we have a prefix, let's say we have done ben, so then we say beneficial. So ben, it means well or good. Then we have benediction, that means asking for divine blessings, right? So benediction, right? Then we have cred, that means believe, incredible. Cogni we have, and it means to know. Then we have recognize, that means to know or to recognize. And then we have cognizant, that means to be aware of things. So it is from the prefix cogni. And then we have many things like inter, that means between. Gamy, then it is about marriage. And then we have monogamy, polygamy, right? And then we have poly, it means many. Then we have polygamy, that means many marriages, right? Pre means something before, right? So that is how we have prefixes and root words. Something similar we have in suffix, and suffix are the words that come after a root word, and they are generally like able, so capable, readable, right? Then we have some ist, ish. Then we have logy, right? So that means study of biology, right? So that is how we have. And see this simple ly, it is used for some characteristics of something. So quickly, so the characteristic is something quick happened. Happily, that means something happy and some sort of that happened, right? So that is how we use suffixes. And again, after you have read and you have used them very often in your daily use, prefix, roots, and suffix, at the end and after some time you'll have collection of different words, the same we had in our association method. And when you have collection of different words, then you have a particular word, and then you have similar to that, sometimes opposite to that, right? So something abundant, that means plenty of, and something which is meager, scarce, scanty, minuscule. So all these are part of our antonym of abundant, right? So whenever reading a word, make sure you read it, do your Google search, and when you are clear with the meaning of the word, try to relate that particular word with a picture. And when you have picture in your mind, it is fair chance that you will in your mind will retain it longer than normal reading, right? So that is how we have vocabulary, and that's how we can approach vocabulary, right? So I hope all the things we have done here are clear to you. You can refer to this dictionary. This is very fine and very helpful also. So you can refer to this because it has lots of things that you can and it has also got the pronunciation. So it's very useful resource. You can use it and you can develop a strong vocabulary. So I hope this is clear to you. Thanks for watching.